Yeah, I mean, I've been through two bull markets. The first one doesn't really count, but the last one, and witnessed, 30%, maybe 40% drops. Panicked myself, didn't know what to do. Kind of weirdly enough, with this one, even with it going we're almost like 51% down from the higher, I was still all right with it. I was kind of okay. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind because I get paid by some of my sponsors in Bitcoin, and so they're the only coins I sometimes worry about because I need to use them to operate the business at times. But
Right.
but personal stacks, I was like, nah, I'm fine. It is what it is. My DMs and emails were wrecked for 48 hours. I can't get through the DMs quicker than they're coming in, and some of them are actually really quite sad. I've got people claiming they've lost everything. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to tell their wife. They're broke. Really sad stories. That's the sad side of it. But I think also sometimes I'm not sure what to do. You want to put an arm around them and say, I'm really, sorry, this has happened to you. But you also, another time, you want to say, look, you're taking on too much risk. No Bitcoin held in cold storage was liquidated. If you're putting everything into leverage positions, you're taking way too much risk.
Yeah, I mean, you can only lose if you're on leverage and you're on the wrong side of that. And so, it's a double-edged sword. It's all great when things are going up. But, with these markets now, we've got so much leverage in the system with the likes of initially BitMEX and now Binance Futures, CME, OKX, all these exchanges doing immense volume. The volume is heavily weighted on the derivative sides. It's very, you'll notice that volatility and you'll notice the shapes change, and you can almost take a guess at how much leverage is in the system by seeing how choppy the price becomes. And when you get this kind of liquidity failure where there's not enough buys and we have hit a liquidation point. This is the second time we've had this in barely over a year. The last one was COVID. The thing just plummeted. And before that was the 2018 bottom near the tail end of 2018. That thing plummeted like we'd never seen before up to that point, like a sheer downward wall, cliff. And, that was the first BitMEX liquidation. That was the first major derivative markets unwinding. And so if you're going to play leverage, you have to know what you're doing. And if you're going to do it as a new person participating, then you really need to position very small until you learn the game. But
I reckon
further.
I was going to say, Willie, there must have been some pretty smart, experienced traders who still got hit pretty hard with this.
Yeah. I know a few, and they were liquidated also. They were also buying the dip. And also, remember, this thing happened right in the morning in US time. So people were just waking up to the sell down overnight. And, I know some were trying to send more collateral into the exchanges to lower their liquidation levels. And some people got liquidated before that happened. I know some very sophisticated traders that were, the market took them unprepared for that kind of event. No one thought we would have a COVID-style crash right in the middle of a bull market. So, yeah,
Do you think it's unhealthy, the amount of leverage we have in the system? Then,
yeah,
is there anything we can even do about it?
I don't know. It's like, because we've got very much, we've got a lot of unregulated derivative exchanges. I don't know if that's the issue, but it's so easy for anyone to sign up, click, and enjoy 100x plus leverage. What Binance was saying that 60% of traders use more than 20x leverage. So it's really fun in games if you see. It's like a casino, right? And it is like, I do think it's unhealthy for the long-term picture of Bitcoin, the growth of that, in terms of just the sheer amount of volatility that's added into the market, and the fear and the amount of people that are losing their shirts. There's this other side of the story where these derivative markets are creating huge opportunities for traditional folk who want higher yields, and you can kind of do a market neutral strategy where if you're not interested in Bitcoin, you just want cash, but you want to generate a 20, 30, even 80% return per year, which is unheard of when, cash-free rate on US dollars is like, 2% or something in normal markets. It's so attractive. They come in here and they have to buy Bitcoin to participate to get that access. So you kind of get this other effect where traditional markets are deploying money into Bitcoin to get access to that yield that's created by the demand for these derivative markets. So it's double-edged. I think in terms of the long story of Bitcoin, where it's like the currency for the people, it's not so good. And
that's what's bothering me, Willie. And in some ways, like, I've been trolling Elon Musk. Not that I thought he would ever reply. I mean, he replied to my thread, but I've been trolling him. I doubt he sees it. But the point being is that, I've been out in El Salvador looking at the Bitcoin project out there, and I've been now in Guatemala looking at the Bitcoin project here, and the things that people are trying to do with Bitcoin to help people. And when we're at the whim of a single billionaire and people are panicking about that, I've realized, like, a lot of people are in this for the gains. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy the gains too. Of course I do. But at the same time, if we're trying to build the hardest, best form of money in the world, being at the whim of single people or fearing pissing off Elon Musk, I don't think is good. I mean, I even tweeted this morning, please sell your coins. I think it'd be better for the long-term strength of Bitcoin now if he wasn't here, because it just seems to be causing too much of a problem. So many people leveraged up, so many people worrying about their gains. It's like, well, don't piss off the billionaire. It's like, well, hold on. We're trying to create hard money here.
Though, I'm kind of glad this happened. It's heartbreaking for some people who lost a lot of money. But in the long-term picture, first off, you've got a billionaire that's gone a little bit AWOL and tweeting weird research that are actually lies if you do the deep research on Bitcoin, its energy use, and how the long-term effects of that. That's dropping the market. There's one thing is that the more that happens, the less the market will respond to it. The other thing that happened with this one in particular was the people who were most scared, and the reason why the markets dropped so much this time was these guys that sold their coins. They were new participants. They have only held their coins a very short amount of time. Secondly, they were very high net worth individuals. So they're very rich Bitcoiners coming in from really rich people, full stop, coming into Bitcoin, holding whale-sized quantities of Bitcoin, which creates a new concentration of wealth. Now, what happened was they were the ones that sold. So we've had the value that's being held by whales drop. And the people that have been buying it has been small retail. The growth of coins being held by below 1 Bitcoin in holdings has been climbing unperturbed. And actually the user count, as Elon was tweeting, and as price was dropping, people were getting in, maybe from the publicity, but we got an uptick of users arriving the first time as seen on the network. And it kept climbing as the price was wicking downwards. So the publicity got out there. Maybe there were people on the sidelines thinking, well, it's run away, it's getting too expensive, and now it's coming back. And they bought the fear, they bought the dip, and this was retail.
Good. That's good then. I definitely hope he sells his whole stack and that gets distributed to retail. And yeah, I would happily take dollar losses in my portfolio size to have a wider distribution of coins and less centralized influence over the price. I'm a hypocrite. When Elon first came in, I was jumping up and down. Oh, this is great. Tesla on board, Elon's on board. This is great. But actually, I now see it as a bit of a negative. I mean, it's great when we have someone like Saylor, who's just a fucking great Bitcoiner, cares about it, keeps investing, puts out great information, does his research. When someone like Elon comes in and just disseminates bullshit, pumps Doge, and it's just really fucking unhelpful to the hard work other people are doing.